Yo, this is Let's Talk About It. This is a little thing that I like to do, brought to you by me, myself, EC22, and the Fed with a Fan community or channel where we just find different things, different hot takes that's going through the media. And guess what? We're going to talk about it. So let's go ahead and get started. Listen, we talked about this last week about Texas high school football. That was the regional rounds. Now we're in the semifinals. So let me go ahead and just throw down on all the teams that I'm rooting for have already run. So the teams I told y'all looking for, they always made it to the semifinals. So let's go ahead and see how the things. We're going to start with Class 3A Division One. You got Shiner and Peaster playing on 12/12 at 7 p.m. What day is that? Anyway, they're playing at 7 p.m. on 12/12, December 12th. Lano versus UConn are playing at December 12th at 7 p.m. also. They don't have the sites right now, so just in case you're looking for those right now. That was Class A Division One. Class A Division Two, you have Wall versus Gunter playing on December 12th as well at 7 p.m. Then you have Newton versus Eastern Bernard also playing December 12th at 7 p.m. It's going down. Class 4A Division One, you have Salina versus Stephenville also playing December 12th, 7 p.m. So I guess all these games will be played on Friday, I believe. So I think that's the actual date for December 12th. Yep, all on Friday. All right, then you have Lavernia versus Kilgore. Kilgore is a team that we're rooting for, so we want them to get past this game. Playing on Friday, December 12th at 7 p.m. Moving on to Class 4A Division 2. Carthage is another team that we've been rooting for. Made it to the semis. Carthage versus Brock at Friday, 7 p.m. West Orange Stark versus Stenton is also playing Friday, 7 p.m. Moving up to the big boys, Class 5A Division 1. Semifinal round, Alito versus Lone Star. Frisco, Lone Star was going for those guys, and they made it Friday, December 12th, 7 p.m. Port Arthur Memorial and Smithson Valley are playing also Friday at 7 p.m. It's just going to say all these games we played Friday. It's hard to keep repeating that. I appreciate you for looking out for me. No, Class 5A Division 2, none other than Melissa, right up north of me, and my alma mater, South of Cliff, are going at it at 7:30 p.m. Friday. Man, I got to try to find a way to get to that game because, man, we are definitely rooting for South of Cliff. Roundel, also Class 5A Division 2, Roundel versus Bourne, Friday, 7 p.m. Class 6A Division 1, both teams that we're rooting for has made it, and they're going to go head-to-head. Allen beat Crowley. Duncanville beat Waxahachie. They're going head-to-head on Saturday, 3 p.m. Allen versus Duncanville, Saturday at 3 p.m. That's December 13th. North Shore versus Lake Travis, also planning on Saturday at 3 p.m. I need to go get the seat. I'm definitely going to see the Allen and Duncanville game, without a doubt. All right, then last but not least, you have DeSoto, the Class 6A Division 2, DeSoto versus South Lake Curl, playing on this also Saturday at 2 p.m. And then you have Van Griff versus King playing Saturday at 6 p.m. All right, then. What's going on, Lou, man? Thank you for jumping in. KCB, whoa. Let me know who you are. I don't know who you are. I'm glad that you're joining in and watching this, but let me know who you are. But thanks for watching. Also, yeah, Jonah G, South Oak Cliff. And Lou, hey, me, Lou G, we all from South Oak Cliff, so we're expecting our guys to get it done on Friday. All right, then, y'all. There's some other things I wanted to really talk about. That was just getting it out the way. But y'all, first things first. This is crazy. Y'all know that Odell Beckham Jr. has came out and decided for himself that $100 million is not enough to live on. Now, we all gonna jump the clip, but I want you to hear it say it from his own self. Let's play the clip.
$1 in my account right here today as we speak, I'm gonna be straight for the rest of my life. No question, right? I don't think everybody is in that. And when you've sacrificed your whole life to get here, and you're like, yeah, I played 10 years in the league. And I always explain this to people, like, bro, you give somebody a 5-year, $100 million contract, right? What is it really? It's 5 years for 60. You're getting taxed. Do the math. That's 12 a year, that you have to spend, use,
Save,
invest, flaunt, like whatever, however, just being real. I'm gonna buy a car, I'm gonna give my mama a house, I'm gonna do, everything costs money. So if you spending $4 million a year, that's really 40 million over 5 years, 8 a year, And now you start breaking down the numbers, it's like, that's a 5-year span of where you're getting 8 million. Can you make that last forever? And you always hear the people who ain't us and ain't been in the position like, oh, well, that would last a lifetime. Yeah.
Yeah, first of all, I don't like his man. I don't like the way he do, man, because he talking about spending $4 million a year. What world you live on, bro? Where you got to spend $4 million a year? And I know how he was talking about the things that he had to spend and with his money, and Ron Clark threw that in there because he knew where he was going, like saving money. He like, yeah, save, invest. Then you turn and said flaunt. See, that's where your $4 million coming from, OBJ. You don't have to always flaunt your money. People know you got it. They said when you got it, act like you don't. That's the name of the game, bro. Save your money. Put yourself in the right account that's going to draw interest. Ain't nowhere in the world $60 million can't last you the rest of your lifetime. I don't know what world you living on, but bro, you need to really, 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 really quit tripping. And there you go. He said it's fun. That's the problem. Anyone can live off that. Exactly. And, and we know OBJ, man. He liked to flaunt, and he got some other things he liked to do too, but we're not going to get into all that. But, man, listen, I hope some people get to him. Now, this goes to the question that, does the league need to do more with financial literacy for their players? Because you hear it all the time. These guys make all this money, then all of a sudden, boom, they're broke, right? I was in a conversation with my brothers the other day. We was talking about, man, saying, don't just let somebody take over your money. I mean, yeah, you may not know, but educate yourself. Get in some type of program. Nobody should have access clearly to your money. Oversee it is one thing. Advising, yeah, we all need that. But just complete access to your money and you don't know what's in your account, yeah, that's a problem. And that's how the guys go broke. And OBJ, I'm sorry, 60 million. Listen, hey, Day, well, not Day, but old boy on a Reggie, on All About the Benjamin, he was trying to move heaven and earth to get to that 50 million. It's like 50 million. 50 million, you gotta know what to talk about. Hey, moving on to the next clip. Listen, see which where I want to go. I want to go with CP3. Has got released, or some say kicked off the LA Clippers, man. There was they said there's this thing going between CP3 and Coach Lou. So let's see this little interaction. Pardon the language on it, but roll the clip.
What they got to do? They got to learn it then. So that's what we have to do. Like you said, we call a play. I'm taking the ball. This is what we do. Yeah, like CP ain't no name on it. They get the ball play and get the action.
I don't have a side. I don't like it. It just didn't work out like we thought it would. And like I said, I don't like CP. But it just wasn't a good fit. And we understood that. And so, like I said, it was an organization. They made the choice.
Man, hey, I ain't no Lou would like that, man. I didn't. I didn't know Coach Lou would like. He said, man, first of all, y'all heard it. I don't want to repeat the script, but man, the video. But look, first of all, let me just say this. Anybody that ever played with CP3 or any team he's ever been on, there's always been some report on how hard he was to get along with. That's just what it is. And every team he's been on has said it. But however, every player that played with CP3 said, man, he's just a guy who wants to win. And these young players, man, they can't handle a lot of pushback. They can't handle a lot of. What was cool about that video, though, you're talking about future Hall of Famer James Harden was over to actually listening to CP3 and understanding. Basically, I thought they felt the same way about it. But he went to Coach Lou. Coach Lou's like, man, what we doing over here. FC3 ain't no, like that part. I don't know whatever situation that CP3 and Coach Ty Lue got going on, man. I don't know what that is, but some that side with Ty Lue saying that he's a guy that's easy to get along with, and if you get to the point where he's not talking to you, you must have done something bad. Maybe so, but in the spirit of trying to win, in a bad start to their season, I mean, man, they need to be all ears. Everybody need to be listening to somebody because, I mean, clearly, if the man had accepted a role of only playing, 15 to 16 minutes a game at his Hall of Fame level, if he accepted that role, then give him another role and at least let him have a say-so in practice in the locker room. Yeah, he passed his years. He's been there for a while. But there's nothing wrong with him being allowed to help train and teach the younger players, whether you like them or not. Any team can use a CP3. especially if he decided that he don't mind coming off the bench and getting limited minutes. If that's the case, at least listen to what he got to say. And I don't know what this is with Coach Lou. I mean, does it did rush practice? If they're trying to see the same thing, then you got to probably maybe they listen to each other. But I don't know. Some would say, man, CP3 should have been over there trying to upstage Coach Ty Lue. I don't know. But anyway, Kai told Lou shut it down. That joker said, man, hey, man, that's some cold-blooded stuff right there, man. Oh, man, listen, let's go to another clip, man, a thing that's been going viral, man. Listen, Notre Dame has decided to step away from college football, the bowl game. They butthurt because, they didn't get selected in the playoffs, and then they decided, you know what, we're not accepting any bowl games. So basically, this is the end of our season. This was the breaking news on Sunday, I believe.
Tracking news in a CBS Sports HQ, where Notre Dame released in a statement the following. As a team, we've decided to withdraw our name from consideration for a bowl game following the 2025 season. This comes after Notre Dame was left out of the college football playoff. The Irish were the first team out after falling behind Miami for the first time in any of this year's playoff rankings.
So y'all know I'm a fan of Big 12. And the reason why I say that, because shortly after Notre Dame withdrew their team out of the bowl game, Kansas State did it as well as Iowa did it. So I'm a fan of those teams. And I would say this respectfully. For Kansas State and Iowa, they had coaching changes, key players hurt, and key players trying to get ready for the NFL draft, and they wasn't going to play no way, right? So they, as an organization, decided that it was the best interest for them not to play because they weren't going to have a full team. They wanted to make sure that if they're going to play a bowl game, they're going to bring their best talent to the stage and play in those games, because nobody want to see a terrible game being played, right? Especially those who pay their money and go there to see those games. And I stand 10 toes down. Both teams was fined $500,000. I'm not quite sure what Notre Dame was fined. I'm pretty sure the same amount. $500,000, half a million for not playing. But at the end of the day, there are teams that are sitting, lying in wait, hoping that they get a call for a bid for a bowl game, hoping and believing they've done enough this season to get to a bowl game, especially when the season didn't turn out the way they wanted to, right? And we have teams like Kansas State and Iowa, as well as Notre Dame, deciding to decline their bid. All it does is open it up for the other teams who've been waiting for that opportunity. And I think that's fair from that regard. However, I will say this about Notre Dame. See, you dropping out from a bowl game is one thing, but it's your reason. Y'all went on record and said, because you guys did not make the playoffs and y'all did not have the season that you wanted, then all of a sudden now you don't want to play in a bowl game. Get yourself into a conference. I've been saying that for the last 2 years since they started this 12-team format. Get yourself in a conference. You're not as good as you think you are until you can prove to the world by getting into a Power 4 conference. That's all I have to say about that. You need to understand that. And the fact that you thought, yeah, y'all got in there last year by luck. But this season, y'all lost to some really not so good teams. Y'all struggled against the big teams. We can't say strength of schedule unless you're in the conference. Just because you lost to some really good teams, it doesn't apply to you, Notre Dame. Get into a conference. I get it. You got all the money in the world and you don't need a conference. But for this reason, you do. That's all I have to say about that. Last but not least on the list, Max Kellerman called himself the GOAT, the greatest of all time in media, on his perspective on why he left First Take with Stephen A. Smith. Roll the clip.
If you're doing a debate show and you're a competitive person, why would you want me as a partner? That's bad. You want to go 15 rounds every day with Muhammad Kellerman? That's just bad. It's embarrassing. He's a showman. Like he would. I never had to worry about when the little red light came on that it wouldn't be a show, but it would be like you don't want to be undermined.
Is that a fun show to do? Like, did you like doing, 2 hours a day of just 5 days a week of having to react and just be like prisoner of the moment stuff?
The issue with that show is this. What is a hot take? A hot take is a counterintuitive conclusion that on TV, you're going to just state your conclusion. You do analysis about a subject. You come to a conclusion that's counterintuitive. So when you say it, people will be like, what are you talking about? Give me 90 seconds. I'll explain it to you. Oh, at least he has a point of view.
Segment 2, let's
But
do
you
it.
should not say the thing you don't believe. You know, you should stick with, and that's, so the difficulty with me on that show was it was a lot of work to keep digging until I said the thing that I believed that would also get a reaction.
Yeah, I got maybe 2 or 3 things to really chirp back at Max. Stephen A gave his response, and pretty much I agree with Stephen A. He basically just told Max Kellerman, really, bro, you really want to go there? So whatever. But Max Kellerman, let me first of all, you call yourself Muhammad Kellerman? First of all, to my knowledge, you've never had a debate show prior to First Take. And you haven't had a debate show since leaving First Take. We get your brilliant sport mind. You understand, some of the analytical stuff. Definitely in boxing, you're that guy, right? But calling yourself Muhammad Kellerman, and y'all, what y'all didn't hear later on, he also talking about who wants to get in a 15-round sparring match with Bud Crawford. That basically call himself Bud Crawford as well. When it comes down to debating, first, bro, you're not that guy. You're not that guy, right? You got to have years of doing this work, and you just haven't had it, right? You was on First Take 5 years, and then they were moved on from you. And some chirp back and say Stephen A was whatever. I'm gonna tell you why I believe Stephen A did what he did and felt like it wasn't a good fit. Is because of the next thing that Max Kellerman said, his definition of a hot take. He said a hot take is being counterintuitive, blah, blah, blah. Max, that's the problem. That is the problem. A hot take isn't just counterintuitive, right? Max Kellerman, you have to understand from the First Take world, First Take. They're trying to be the first to report it, first to debate on it, right? And a hot take is like, what's hot? If the Dallas Cowboys are the thing to talk about right now, that's a hot take. If somebody got hurt or if some team has done better than what we expected, that's a hot take. And from that, you go in and you debate your thoughts and your perspective on it. But just to come in and define a hot take as being counterintuitive, then you further along and say that you have to believe what you say. And there's one thing just throwing something out and just being counterintuitive and just say, hey, for those who don't know what a counterintuitive comment would be, Max Kellerman, first day on First Take, he turned around and said that Tom Brady was trash, for lack of better words, trying to be counterintuitive, and then the next day had to apologize. Johnny see, everywhere you go, nobody likes it. So, you talking about CP3. But no, so Max, that's not, I get that's your definition of being a counterintuitive, but guess what you do? You don't disrespect players. There's a thing that's obvious, and you have to be skilled enough in your craft to know how to debate something without going too far left, too far right, just to try what you consider a hot take. That's why later on he started talking about how hard it was every single day for 12 takes to come up with these things because you're not good at it. That's what it is. I know what it's like to be around people who, when you're trying to have a show and you're trying to talk about something, right? Because it happens to the best of us, right? And you, as a director of a show or moderator or producer of a show, you have a direction you want the show to go, and you have these what you consider hot takes or hot talking points, and then somebody now goes so far left or counterintuitive to where now you're getting distracted and you have these subtopics, and it gets you distracted. That's not making a good show. And Stephen A. basically said, hey, that we had an obligation to the fan base that was created by himself as well as Skip Bayless. And once Skip Bayless was going on, he knew what the fans wanted. And so he brought Max Kellerman on to fill those shoes, and it wasn't a good show. Even though they remained at number one, it wasn't a good show. I completely understand that narrative. So Max, bro, I get it. You versus Stephen A. I don't always like Stephen A. Smith takes all the time, but I will say this. Stephen A. Smith is the GOAT in media, and you can't stand 10 toes in a room with him unless you have your ducks in order. And Max Kellerman, good luck. And listen, for those who may not know, Stephen A. Smith didn't get Max Kellerman fired from ESPN. He got him released from his duties from First Take. Max Kellerman still had a check and was still getting on other shows at ESPN. I don't think he's doing that now. I think he just recently got a radio show for ESPN. And Stephen A. Smith said he wouldn't have co-signed on Max Kellerman being fired from ESPN. He just figured out, hey, what he's doing at First Take is not what the fans want to see. And that's kind of how he moved on from that. And if you look at the way it got set up right now, even though ESPN and First Take is a debate show, he got the players that played the game. And he put himself at a disadvantage by debating these guys. So the fact that you think that Stephen A. didn't want to go 10 rounds with you is laughable. That dude got the best experts from the Marcus Spears, the Cam Newtons, the Michael Irvins, the Shannon Sharps, Dan Olowski, these guys who's played this game at a high level to go around with. So he ain't running from nothing. Matt Kellerman, you just wasn't good at it. That's all I have for this segment of Let's Talk About It, man. Join us here in, let's say, 3 minutes at the top of the hour for the Fair with the Fan podcast. Once again, thank you for watching Let's Talk About It. Hit us on Facebook every Tuesday, YouTube every Tuesday, 6 p.m., 5:30 or 6:30 p.m. Whenever you get a notification, we on. This your boy EC22. Join us in a few minutes. Stay locked in. Just stay right there. We're going to come back. It's your boy EC22, and I'm out.